George Hotz of Comma AI does not want to deal with regulation on the way to the self-driving car. The FCC says that you own your own personal information. I try to see inside Jason's brain, and another dress is tearing the internet apart. All that and a whole lot more coming up on Tech News Today.
This is Twit.
Bandwidth for Tech News Today is provided by CashFly at CACHEFLY.com.
This is Tech News Today, episode 1630, recorded Friday, October 28th, 2016.
This episode of Tech News Today is brought to you by Epson's new EcoTank printers. With Epson's line of SuperTank all-in-one printers, you can print thousands of documents without running out of ink. EcoTank is loaded and ready to print when you are. Visit Epson.com/EcoTank to find out more. Welcome to Tech News Today. The band is back together. I missed you yesterday. Ron Richards did a great job being me.
He tried really hard, but you know, he's just Ron Richards, no matter how hard he tries to be anyone else.
Maybe I should try hard to be Ron Richards today.
Do you have affinity for comic books?
No.
Oh, well then, I mean, that takes you out of the running.
And I don't use an Android phone.
Yet.
And I'm not eternally joyful either, like he is. I am Megan Maroney, not Ron Richards.
And I'm Jason Howell. It's good to have you back. You were at PepCom last night. Mm-hmm. We're going to check in on that a little bit later.
Yes. Yeah, it was a great event. And yeah, I brought back a toy for you.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yes. All right, well, let's get to the news. Quartz says that George Hotz, founder of a company that makes aftermarket self-driving car products, is canceling its first official device, the Comma One. Now Hotz, who we've talked about on the show many times, also known as GeoHot, announced on his official Comma.ai Twitter account that he made the decision based on the regulation letter received from the National Highway and Traffic Safety Administration, or NHTSA. He wrote, "Dealing with regulations, quote, isn't worth it," end quote. And all they asked of him was to make sure he was in full compliance with the law before he sold this product that will make cars self-driving. Regulations are hard, George.
I mean, what?
He says they'll be exploring other products and markets.
Yeah.
And he says, hello from Shenzhen, China. That was another tweet. Okay, well, bring your possibly dangerous, unregulated product to China. And he's also said, I would rather spend my life building amazing tech than dealing with regulators and lawyers. But what kind of technology does not require regulation, especially if you're talking about stuff that goes on the road?
Yeah, and could possibly kill people if it's done poorly. The NHTSA asked 15 questions. They were related to the design of the product, testing practices that were employed during the development of the product, safety trials, the intended target vehicles, sales timeline estimates. I mean, these are all pretty standard questions for something that's going to end up on the road with someone in the driver's seat, propelling them along without them having to do anything, or, you know, at least just pay attention, or so you hope. I mean, what strikes me about this is it's such a quick turnaround. Like in September, it was, we are shipping by the end of the year. And right, you know, you turn around and you get this inquiry, this letter from NHTSA, and immediately it's too many questions. I'm out. I don't want to do this anymore. This isn't fun anymore. And it doesn't, like, something doesn't add up. He was always super confident about this. So why? I mean, this is real life. This is how it goes.
I know. I mean, maybe there's something that we just don't know about, like he's, you know, maybe been dealing with regulators and just got frustrated with it. But, you know, I mean, it looked like a pretty decent product. We talked to Roberto Baldwin. He rode in the car with him. Mm-hmm. You know, so I don't know. I wish that he had just pushed through. But, I mean, you know, it's not like hacking the iPhone, I guess.
Especially when you consider companies like Square, Uber, you know, Lyft. They've created their businesses largely around kind of defining themselves when stuff like this happens, or in light of things like this, instead of just like folding because it's something new. You know, they kind of push along, and that's what ultimately kind of defines them in that category as a new player doing something a little bit different. Mm-hmm. So, you know, I mean, maybe he's got other things going on, so I shouldn't feel bad for him necessarily, but it kind of seemed like a good opportunity. So to that end, I feel like there's something that we're missing. If it was this easy for him to walk away at this point in time, then we must be missing something. There must be something that we don't know about the comma hardware. And who knows? Maybe he'll come out with the company will come out with a new revised one that he doesn't mind there being any sort of scrutiny over whatsoever by an official organization. It's just part of the deal. The Federal Communications Commission released a major ruling yesterday aimed at protecting broadband users from the sale of their personalized data by internet providers for purposes of targeted advertising. The rules prohibit the sharing of app and browsing histories, location data, health data, financial information, social security numbers, and the content of emails with third parties that don't explicitly sell communication services. Internet services providers see the rules as unfairly discriminating against ISPs as being different from technology companies like Google that, as we know, profit wildly while engaged in similar practices as this. They do, based on this, customers must explicitly opt in for this type of sharing as opposed to it just being an automatic thing. And I think part of the difference that you see, I feel like I see two differences here between ISPs doing this and, let's say, general technology companies doing this. One, you're already paying for service. And you know what I mean? So it's almost like double dipping at that point. It's like you're paying for the service, and then we also want to sell this other stuff that you're generating for us. And two, ISPs have access to so much more than a lot of these technology companies do in usage data and all that kind of stuff. So I think this is good news. It's a win for, I guess, privacy regulation, at least in the U.S.
I absolutely agree. I think it's great news. And I think few would disagree, except perhaps the advertisers. Association of National Advertisers called the rules unprecedented, misguided, and harmful to the advertisers. Obviously harmful. They just said harmful.
Right.
But it's true. What you said is absolutely true. By just by the nature of the world, I think that our personal information should be private and we get to choose whether we give it away or not. I mean, if we use Google products, if we want to use a free service and that comes in the long list of things we agree with, turning over our personal information, that's our choice. And it's great. I do it all the time. I'm sure there's very few people who don't do that. Yes, I want your free service. Yes, I like to see cat videos on Facebook. So I will turn over some of my personal information for that. But, I'm paying for the ISP and I didn't agree to give up that personal information. And so, I think this is great news.
Yeah. Vote was 3-2, firmly down party lines. Tom Wheeler, of course, was at the lead of this. And so they see this as a really big, and, amidst many misses in this year of different privacy kind of efforts with the FCC, this is one really big win. So that's good.
Well, Julia Angwin at ProPublica is shaping up to be Facebook's Bob Woodward. Today, the tireless reporter posted a piece about how Facebook allows companies to target their advertisements based on race, either including or excluding users based on what Facebook calls their ethnic affinity. The problem is that both the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Fair Housing Act of 1968 make it illegal to advertise on the basis of race, color, religion, sex, handicap, familial status, or national origin. ProPublica was able to submit an ad for a renter event, excluding African Americans and Asians, or at least the people they've identified based on an algorithm that fall into the African American or Asian ethnic affinity. The ad was approved in 15 minutes. Facebook has responded to the ProPublica piece with a lengthy statement to Forbes, basically saying marketers use this type of targeting to assess whether their ads resonate more with certain audiences versus others. They also posted on Facebook a response to this. It was called Driving Relevance and Inclusion with Multicultural Marketing. And it was written by Christina Martinez, who's the head of Multicultural. Just multicultural, not multicultural anything necessarily. And, she makes the point, living in the United States, most of the advertising that I see in traditional media is targeted to the people in the majority, people who don't look like me, who don't speak Spanish, and who might not share my experience. And that's okay. I'm all for inclusion, but this is exclusion, which I believe is different and I also think is illegal. Exclusion targeting is something that they apparently do in the ad industry a lot.
Yeah.
But, Facebook has 1.5 billion users. And I think that, they need to follow, like, this is the world that, this is, if you put an ad and you say, I don't want any African Americans to see this ad, or, then I think that should be illegal.
So this is not a new feature. I think you may have mentioned that. It's been there for more than 2 years now. And yes, when I'm reading through this, I'm like, it feels icky. Like, I don't like the idea of this, right? Food for thought. Total, like, other side of the fence. Ads are targeted at, just as one example, ad ranges or age ranges all the time. You hear about that all the time in advertising. Like, we're really, appealing, marketing our products to a certain demographic that is, 18 to 24 or whatever the case may be. It's all about making sure that your intended audience sees your ads. So I don't know, at least on that sense, it's a little bit of a double standard, I suppose. It feels icky, but at the same time, this is the way the ad industry works. And so maybe the broader question is, should the ad industry work this way? I mean, especially when you consider like ad marketing on TV was never, and even in newspapers, you were never able to drill down to exactly who saw. That's something that was enabled in the move to digital. Is that okay? Are people okay with that? And if you're not okay with it in one, then you probably shouldn't be okay with it in another, because you're always excluding someone in that process.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you're always excluding. It just, I mean, when you get right down to it and you see that, if you look at the ad form they filled out and it says, I would like in this ad, this renter's event. So, I mean, this is a very specific thing they're talking about, housing, which is,
right.
So it's not just who can buy my chocolate milk, who can buy my toys. This is housing. Like, in that, I mean, that there's a long history of this, and it still goes on. I mean, it would be silly to say that, that we're not still divided by race in a lot of places by all kinds of factors. But I think that Facebook should be called to task for this. I mean, like I said, they have a lot of users, and we need to be able to, 15 minutes, at least spend some time thinking about it. Like, okay, why does this person want to put in an ad that's going to exclude African Americans and Asians? Like, why?
I would be really surprised if they even, consider that to some degree, or maybe they do. I guess I don't know how the ad industry works, behind closed doors of Facebook.
Well, I mean,
how much scrutiny is really being put to this?
Right. I mean, and this is something that we need to think about, because it's Google does it, they all do it. It's just different. Like, when you're talking about, like, when we used to watch TV commercials, they didn't have the ability to not, like, oh, okay, well, you're African American, I'm not going to show you this commercial. It's not going to show up, like, because you're African American. So this is new technology. This is new ways we need to look at it and say, like, hey, that sounds illegal to me.
Mm-hmm. I wonder how much that genie can be put back into the bottle at this point, because I mean, I'm guessing it's been working like this for a long time, and when you take the scale of Facebook, that's where it really kind of starts to tip the balance, and you go, okay. And we talk about this in many other ways in regards to Facebook, as far as like the news that you see in your feed and everything. Because Facebook is so ginormous, the effects of something like this are amplified tenfold compared to a lot of other things, and it raises that level of importance just by the sheer fact that it is kind of, in many ways, the place that everybody is at.
Yeah. But I mean, it happens on Google too. I mean, Google is targeting people unfairly, like people who, might need, if you search for, like, I need a loan, like I need a payday loan, they're going to target you for other things based on that. And I don't know that the genie can be put back in the bottle, but I think that that doesn't mean we shouldn't talk about it and bring it to light. For
sure. And I think through this, a lot of people are kind of learning a little bit more about how that ad and marketing industry works on the internet and what you are able to do. And is that okay? Like, in this instance, it doesn't feel okay. It feels icky. One level of immersion that's missing from virtual reality at the moment is the sense of touch. And Microsoft Research is working on a few ways to tackle that issue. They have a handheld controller that they're working on called Normal Touch. It uses a platform kind of style button that your finger rests on, that can raise and shift underneath the finger when a virtual object is encountered, kind of contours to the object as if it were being dragged underneath the platform that your finger's on, so you get that sense of touch. The second handheld controller, called Texture Touch, has a platform that the user's finger rests on again, but it houses a 4x4 actuated pin array underneath the surface. So as the user drags their finger across a virtual surface, those pins kind of push up into the finger in a way that renders the 3D object to simulate the surface, the shape of the object, all that stuff. The research is in its early stages, but I imagine, this technology is going to fuel VR sometime in the future. I've noticed this in my own experience with VR is like, it's incredibly immersive when you put on those goggles and you go into this virtual space and you do all this stuff. But man, if you could just have some sort of resistance when you actually reach out and you push a button, or you reach out for an object and you grab it. Right now you get this little vibration thing, and it's okay. It feels like a total first step, and we've had it for years with haptic feedback and controllers and stuff. So I don't know. I mean, this is obviously it's early stuff here. This isn't like ready for market by any stretch, but really cool kind of glimpse into some of the technology that's looking to kind of further virtual reality.
Yeah, I mean, what was interesting to me about this was that it was actually a controller and not a glove, or an exoskeleton, which we've seen. Like, it seems like this really wouldn't work unless it was a glove where like it was touching all parts of your hand. So it really shows how advanced this technology is. That, I mean, like you said, it's early days, but the fact that you could use a controller in order to feel all sides of something, like the kinesthetic feedback,
right.
That I think is really interesting technology. The other thing that this makes me think is like the keyboard is really dying. Like yesterday, between Microsoft and Apple, like they had, Microsoft had their knob dial where you, can, and then, Apple had all the touch screen. It's like really like the keyboard is just totally an afterthought. I mean, if you look at those MacBooks, like the touchpad is bigger than an iPhone 6 or 7 Plus. Like, it's huge. So it's really like the keyboard, we're growing out of that. So I can see this being used, in games. I could see it being used in virtual reality, like medical. That's what we hear a lot about, doing surgery. You want to really feel where that heart or, liver is before you pull it out if you're a doctor. Yeah. And don't pull it out if you're not a doctor.
and then it's beating in your hands.
Right.
And yeah, you really... Wow, this could go into a whole other direction, actually. Now
but yes. So the keyboard is dying. That's my point. And I can't wait to see how other ways, like between voice and touch, how we're going to be interacting with our devices.
Agreed.
Speaking of those devices, in the wake of the announcement of those brand new MacBook Pros, AMD tells us a little bit about what's inside them. The Radeon Pro 400 series graphics processor is available first in the new 15-inch MacBook Pro. The new laptops will feature a choice of AMD Radeon Pro 450, 455, and 460 graphics cards. That sort of depends on how much money you're willing to shell out. AMD, as well as Apple, are clearly aiming these new machines at artists, designers, photographers, filmmakers, visualizers, and engineers. Ars Technica points out they are not necessarily the best machines for gamers, which really shouldn't come as much of a surprise to most Mac users. The full specs are at the Creators with Radeon website. So, Ars Technica is really making the point, like, don't expect to do a bunch of gaming. And I'm not sure what Mac laptop users were expecting to do a lot of gaming, because that's just not really what you think of when you think of a MacBook.
Yeah, like I'm not a hardcore gamer by any stretch, but anytime when I moved to the Mac platform, which was like early thousands, probably like 2001, I think is when I got my first Mac, or 2000, around there. Gaming was not the strong suit of the Macintosh platform. I don't know how it's changed over the course of that time, but I mean, anything that I've witnessed as an outsider makes me feel like a lot of like the people who really care a lot about PC gaming are probably not their first choice for that particular use is probably not a Macintosh. So this doesn't really come as too much of a surprise to me. At the same time, it's MacBook Pro. You kind of hope that, Apple's top of the line laptop would be good for all things, and maybe that's too much to expect. I don't know.
I think it's too much to expect.
Yeah.
But the Radeon can run up to 1.8 trillion calculations per second. So
trillion's a big number. I don't even know how to process that.
I know. It's a lot of Photoshop.
Yes.
Yeah, I think also, it's not going to be a great VR performer either. I think that, that's what we really want. That's what people at this point really want the computing power for, gaming and VR.
Sure.
So don't expect to do that on your PowerBook. After the break, I'm going to use an app to scan Jason's brain.
Don't do it.
But first, let's take a minute to thank Epson, the sponsor of this episode. Epson's revolutionary cartridge-free EcoTank line of printers for home and office introduce a new age in printing. Welcome to the new age in printing, people. The EcoTank ET4550 wireless all-in-one printer does not use ink cartridges. It features an amazing, innovative, refillable ink tank, which earned it the title of CES 2016 Innovation Awards honoree. So no more out-of-ink frustration. We've all been there. But this one includes 2 years of ink. That's equal to 11,000 black pages or 8,500 color pages. You can save up to 80% on ink with low-cost replacement bottles. It's also powered by precision core printing technology. It has auto 2-sided printing and a 30-page auto document feeder. Easy wireless printing from tablets and from your smartphone. All EcoTank printers deliver an unbeatable combination of convenience and value. You'll have the freedom to print without running out of ink. So here's what you can do. You can visit epson.com/EcoTank today to transform the way your home, office, or work group prints. For the best combination of ease and value, turn to the Epson EcoTank printers. That's epson.com/EcoTank, and we thank Epson for their support. So last night I checked out PepCom. That's an event in San Francisco. TWIT's been going for several years. This was my first year. It was filled with products, people selling internet-connected everything, literally everything you can think of. No internet-connected toothbrush.
Oh.
I did see an internet-connected pillow.
Okay.
Which is great. Do you snore?
I have. I think now I sleep on my side, so I don't really snore.
Okay. Well, this would help you. You know, sometimes, if you sleep with someone who snores and you have to, this pillow does that for you.
Oh,
in a calmer, gentler way.
I was going to say, sometimes if you do that to someone snoring, they snore louder. They go.
It's true. But now this is gentle.
Oh, okay.
There were internet-connected pet treat dispensers and fragrancers. Do you know what a fragrancer is?
Does it make you smell good? I don't know what a fragrancer is.
I didn't know what a fragrancer was either, but it's a thing that makes scent.
Like an air freshener, plug into the wall sort of thing?
It's the fancy word for air freshener.
So it kind of looks like a Google Home, but...
Right, but yes, exactly. But you can control the scent.
Oh, okay.
Literally anything you can connect to the internet, people did. But so one of my favorite devices was called the Muse. It measures your brain waves to help you relax, which I need. Let's take a look and see how well it worked. So I am sort of an anxious person, a little bit high-strung, and this doesn't help at all. I have so many distractions all the time. I'm sort of a reluctant meditator. I try. I don't think I'm very good at it. So I was super excited to see Muse, which is a personal meditation assistant. And Jackie here is going to tell us about it. Just explain what Muse is.
Great. Well, you explained it so well. Muse is your personal meditation assistant. What we have here is a headband that actually reads your brainwaves and tells you what's happening in your mind while you meditate. And why is that important? Because a lot of the times when people try meditation, they don't know what is happening. If I'm doing it right, how long has my mind been wandering? So what we do with these brainwaves is we translate them to an app that's available on iOS or Android, and we turn your brainwaves into the sounds of weather. When your mind is active, you'll hear active weather.
So I just tried it. It was not easy. We're in a loud area, a lot of people talking. But tell me a little bit about how I did.
I think you did very, very well, given the circumstances. There's probably 300 people in this room all talking. We're doing other demonstrations here. So the key that you noticed when I looked at your results is you noticed your distractions. And that's really what's important in meditation, is noticing your distractions and being able to recover and come back to your breath. So the more that you do that, the more that you're learning to strengthen your mind. And that's really the practice of meditation. And really, to really learn something like meditation, to be able to provide feedback is very important. As I mentioned the analogy of the guitar, you can't learn to play a guitar without hearing the sounds of the guitar, and that's really what we're doing within Muse, the application and the headband.
So it's sort of like, I'm trying to meditate and I think like, what's going on Twitter? What's going on? Instead of like just going crazy monkey mind and checking Twitter, I can say like, yes, no Twitter, yes, I thought of Twitter, now I'm relaxing.
Well, yeah, you're thinking about Twitter and we're telling you you're thinking thinking about Twitter. So that's your cue to come back to your breath, right? And that happens many times a day. Our wandering minds, we're thinking that we're multitasking, but we can't really only do one thing well. And to be able to learn focus and presence is really important now in this day and age. And to be able to build on technology like this really helps people live, a happier life. And that's really helps out with a lot of other issues. So, it's not just about the body connection. There is a mind connection to our health every day.
So, okay, this is somehow looking at my brain waves. Is it safe?
It is absolutely safe. We have all of the certifications on this. This is very passively reading your brain waves the same way that an EKG reads your heart. It's low energy Bluetooth, no more energy than what's available in your cars or on your Bluetooth stereo headphones today.
And so how much does it cost?
It's $249, and it's available this holiday season at Target and Amazon.
So we can get it at Target, Amazon, and where can we find out more information about it?
You can also go to our website, which is at www.choosemuse.com.
Okay, thanks so much, Jackie.
Trying really hard.
Jason's been meditating.
Really hard. It's supposed to go like this, right? Is this what you do? The middle finger and the thumb?
Yes. So we didn't
music.
Exactly get it to work. It's supposed to hook up to headphones.
Oh, but
and
funny thing about headphones in the iPhone 7.
And no headphone jack.
We didn't have that
so
when we needed it.
I have no idea where my dongle is.
That's a whole other story.
Yeah, exactly. It kind of told me what I already knew about myself, which is I have a hard time focusing.
Yeah.
But she said that I was good at recovery. She said that that was, because like when you're meditating and you want to, like, if your mind starts drifting, the key is not to punish yourself for that. But
not be like, focus.
Yeah,
dang it.
Exactly.
Maroney.
I think you should just wear that around, though. It looks really good on you.
Or I could wear it as like,
yeah, but then it couldn't. That's good.
No, it's not good. That's not good at all. No. So it's supposed to go here. I'm supposed to hear things if I'm wearing the headphones plugged into a phone that actually accepts a headphone jack.
Right.
And is it like you're creating music with your mind?
Sort of. Your brain waves are supposed to create the sound.
Okay.
And then when you're really relaxing, when you're like in real focus, then you hear a bird. And that's like an award. So you're supposed to collect birds.
Okay. Oh man, you're selling me on this, Megan.
I know. I am going to keep trying it. I'm going to give it some more time because meditation is supposed to be good for you. I believe the studies.
Yeah. Meditation should be easy too.
Yeah.
You should just be able to close your eyes and think about things and get the positive effects out of it.
Mm-hmm. Did you feel weird?
I fear introducing technology into the meditation equation, which has a nice ring to it, might just complicate things to a point to where it's not as beneficial. I don't know, but I guess I had to have to use it to see.
Yeah. Actually
get that music going.
Well, you can check out everything that I saw that you might want to buy or that you might never want to buy at twit.tv/specials, and you can watch that there.
All right, and see maybe I'll try it out later and see how many birds I can collect.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I'll brag about it. Time for some feedback. First of all, we heard from a few of you that Ron, Richards, and myself may have said that ports on the new MacBook Pros were proprietary Lightning ports, and that is incorrect. Those ports are, in fact, Thunderbolt 3 ports via USB-C. Definitely not proprietary.
Now it's working.
It's working. Oh, man. See? I don't even need to wear the things that I can summon music. Go away, mind thing. Okay, I'm not meditating anymore. I have a show to do. All right, apologies about getting that wrong. But let's also answer an email we heard from Bill Dam, who wrote in to say, In your reporting, Jason contrasted the accessibility video and the touch bar as being out of step. I think the new 13-inch MacBook Pro for $1499 without the touch bar would fill the bill for the visually impaired, as well as those who just don't want to pay the premium for the touch bar and Touch ID. So I think Apple has that covered. And yes, that's an option. I actually meant to say that yesterday, like, well, at least they have this without it, and that offers the tactile feel. The only problem that I can see from that is that that's based on the assumption that those with accessibility needs don't want the best hardware. And the problem with that is that they are relegated to the underpowered MacBook Pro as a result of that. I suppose it's an option where there may not be an option in another, on another planet, another universe. But so that's better than nothing. But still, I can imagine some people being disappointed with the fact that they have to kind of choose the underpowered version because of that.
Absolutely. I agree with that. But I'm still confused about the Thunderbolt port. So could I, like this regular USB, will that fit in the Thunderbolt, or do I have to get a dongle?
Yeah, they're all USB-C connectors. 4 of them. Well, depending on the model that you get, 4 or 2, I think, on some of the lower cost ones. But yeah, and those ports are multi-function ports, so they do all of your other things as long as you have a dongle to do it.
Do you think they'll? I mean, like my iPhone 7, why didn't it ship with a USB-C? Like what?
That's a great question, and that's one thing that you're going to need a dongle for. Sorry, hey, I'm not Apple, so I'm just telling you how it is.
Oh, you're not?
No, if I was, I wouldn't be sitting here.
Yeah, that's annoying.
Yeah, it is.
Right.
There you go.
All right. Well, let's get on to happier topics. TNT's fan of the day is Chris Kushley on Twitter, who sent us this picture of himself wearing a Samsung Gear VR and wireless earphones, saying, "This is how I watch TNT. I get to work early, so I sit in the car until it's time to go." That is dedication. I love that.
He looks really intrigued, and like this is a really great story we're talking about or something.
Yeah.
Kind of has the mouth slightly agape VR face right now.
Right. But I mean, he took a picture
we all have
of
if
it.
we've ever put on VR goggles.
Yeah.
So.
But like he knew he was taking a picture of himself, right? It's a selfie.
Yeah.
But
that's true. That's a good point.
I mean, I hope that everyone who's watching us looks just like that.
And I hope he's not driving. But I guess he said that he's parked
in the car.
But I don't know. It kind of looks like maybe there's a little motion blur in the background.
Yeah.
There.
And I want to get to a day where he doesn't have to sit in his car, where he can go right to his desk and sit there with those VR goggles and no one will judge him at all. That's what I want.
That's the workplace of the future.
Yes.
We're close. Mm-hmm. We're close to that future.
Show us how you watch or listen to TNT at work or not at work. Just record a video or take a picture of yourself or your setup. Post it to Instagram, Google+, Twitter, or Facebook. Use the hashtag HowIWatchTNT and we will find it.
That's right. All right, finally, it's time to get giddy. At least that's what happens in this video that we're about to show you. Showpo is an Australian fashion retailer. Have you ever heard of Showpo?
Nope.
Nope, neither have I. And the company's CEO, Jane Liu, broadcast to Facebook Live earlier this week to show a new technology-infused dress. What does the technology actually do? In the video, you see an iPad with a color wheel on the screen, along with a model wearing the dress. Jane then asks for a color. We'll see it right here. She's going to pull the gentleman over. He's going to pick a color, and the dress changes color immediately, and they freak out. They repeat this a few more times. All the while, they're jumping, they're screaming. Megan, would a dress like this make you jump and scream?
Absolutely. I would jump and scream if my dress were changing colors, but I do not. How does it work?
You want to know how it works?
Well, I think you know what it does, but not how it works.
It's a special fabric.
Okay.
Supposedly, it's a fabric that reflects different light frequencies based on what color has been selected. I don't know how that technology works. I understand the idea of reflecting certain light frequencies because those colors are all out there. So it's just a matter of, selecting which one it reflects outward. But I don't know. I don't understand the technology behind it. This is the CEO of the company. And like I went to the site, they're a legitimate clothing retailer. Supposedly they're just freaking out. I don't know.
Well,
if this is true, this is a really big deal. But it feels kind of fakey.
So what you're saying is huge if true.
Huge if true.
I think I give them an A+ for enthusiasm.
Yes.
And they're a social network and a clothing retailer, I guess. They're a social network about clothing. And they have a lot of followers and a lot of excitement. I'm not buying it. I mean, why do you show this video and not show how it works? I mean, because I'm saying like, show me how it works.
To get people to talk about it and then go to your site and go, oh, Showpo, I never knew that this existed. Oh, they have 1.116 million followers. That's really
I want to know how it works.
Good to know. This,
I'm not gonna drop this story. I'm gonna.
You can legitimately get free shipping on all orders over $75, Megan. I'm just saying.
I don't
if that
believe
doesn't
it.
give you inspire confidence in everything that they show you in this video, I don't know what does.
I don't believe it. No.
Okay. They have
Showpo. It's a scam.
They have 1,263 5-star reviews on product review.
Well, I believe that they make clothes and have a social network.
Okay.
And I believe they created that amazing video where it appears that the dress is changing colors.
Facebook Live. This wasn't like, unless they were like playing it through Facebook Live pre-recorded or something, but this was done through, I don't know.
This might be the thing that tears us apart, Jason Howell.
I want to believe, though.
I know,
that's really
you wanna
cool.
believe.
It's kind of like Hypercolor, but with an iPad.
Yeah. Okay, we'll see.
All right. We'll check back in on that when we find out it's fake. TNT records live every Monday through Friday at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, 11 p.m. UTC at twit.tv/live. You can be part of the show by emailing us at tnt@twit.tv. You can leave us a short voicemail at 260-TNT-SHOW, and you can find us on Twitter. We're at Tech News Today TV.
Twit is also now on the Amazon Echo Flash Briefing. Every day, get updates on the latest tech news and events from Leo, Jason, and me. Just go to your app, your Alexa app, and click on Twit, subscribe. And also you can subscribe on YouTube, and you can subscribe on iTunes, and you can subscribe on Google Play. So many places. Find all the ways at twit.tv/TNT. And if you want to tweet at me to tell me that I am right about this dress color changing thing, then I am at Megan Maroney.
I should also throw out some props where it's due. I got this on the TNT subreddit. Dora Diamond is the person that posted that. So thank you, Dora. I'm very curious to know what you think. Do you think it's real or not? Email us tnt@twit.tv and let us know.
No.
There we go. I'm at Jason Howell on Twitter. Thanks to our technical director, Kara Cole. Thanks to Patrick for scrolling words on the screen and hanging out with us today. Thanks to Kevin for editing and making us look good. And thanks to you, you, for talking tech with us today. We'll see y'all tomorrow. No, Monday. Bye.
Bye. Love you.
Bye.